as powerful as the supremacy of the will of God, it is handicapped without men on the earth. God has never walked alone from the very beginning. Men are part of the wisdom of God when it comes to the affairs of creation. Men are part of the center of the operations of God. The system of the earth is given unto men, and if God cannot find men that he can walk upon the face of the earth, there is nothing he can do. You now see why no matter how desperate God is, there is nothing he can do upon the face of the earth except through man. And that makes man so important, so valuable in the agenda of God. But just because you are valuable and important in the agenda of God doesn't mean that God must use you. No matter how desperate God is, he can never use a wrong man. He can never use someone that is not in perpetual alignment with him. And that is why God needs to be able to work on you, build you, equip you, prune you, purge you, beautify you, purge you. So you wonder why God demands that you are placed upon the altars of sacrifice, and every allotment of the infirmity that lies within you are demanded to burn. Is because God wants to present you as a choice servant unto himself. Say, in the great house there are many vessels, some to honor, some to dishonor. In fact, in a great house there are many all kinds of vessels, some of wood, some of gold, some of silver. But just because they are in the great house does not mean that all of them will be used. Even if you are a vessel of silver, if you are dirty, the master cannot use you. So he said, whosoever purge himself is the one that will be of delight to the master. Yes, we know that there is this treasure in earthen vessel, but there is an excellency of God that worketh wonders. Can you submit yourself to the crucible of the making of God to bring out the excellency of his beauty out of you? Our life will bear no relevance except we are presented upon the altars of sacrifice. And upon the altar of sacrifice, we will require the help of him who is the potter to be able to make us, to bend us, to mold us. If God does not help you, even if you appear before the altar, it's a waste of time. That is why that altar is referred to as the place where men obtain mercy. I beseech you by the mercies of God. Everyone can appear. Only few will be touched by God. And only those that God have laid his hand upon and ensure that he mold them, he can send them as part of his army. And in the days God wants to make wonders upon the face of the earth, it's possible for God to look upon 1,000 of us and choose only one man and walk with him. Because God have no restraint, either to conquer with many or to win with a few. There were so many volunteers there, but God can still sample among them and remove one, remove 10, remove 20, and say the rest should go. In the days that God begin to do his own modicum of numbering, will you be numbered? In the days God wants to number an army, David went in the flesh to number. He said, judgment shall come upon you. Because you cannot appoint and approve who God has not approved. No matter how much we ordain you, pour oil on you, if God have not approved of you, you will be a king, yet again a rejected king. So we are trying to let you understand there is a place where God makes men is upon the altar of sacrifice. Because until you present yourself as a worthy sacrifice, you may be an heir, but you different not from a slave. It was not long enough. Men like Samson rose. And when men like Samson rose, it looks as though Israel does not have an army. And only one man was enough answer to the Philistine. Anytime the Philistine raged, one man is sent on the scene. And I realized, I asked myself, why can't Samson train other people? I realized it was not left for him to train other people. It was God that actually stayed upon his position to be able to make them. Because many of them were not willing to appear before the altar of sacrifice. Many men gathered before David. Only few understood that there was a cave. And only those that were part of the cave were made. You can be so many you're numbered. And I'm telling you the truth, after 10 years, you just discover that only 5, 6, 7 were remaining. What happened to the rest? They refused to remain upon the altar of sacrifice. It is only upon the altar of sacrifice where men are made. There is a furnace upon which things are baked in the spirit. And until you are part of that furnace, you can never be prepared. Many of you are afraid of the persecution, the pains, and the trials that come in keeping to your pursuit. And you wonder why your friend advanced. In the days of adversity, you run away. He stood his ground. And because he stood his ground, don't be so jealous that he is receiving the glory. Because glory always comes when a war when a warfare is conquered. Everyone that wear the crown of glory actually went to an altar of sacrifice, passed through a pain. The crown are made for the overcomers. And in this pursuit, I'm not trying to say God will not answer your prayer, but as he said, there are many things that God may not do, but actually is preparing it for a better day. He said, you see, what you don't understand is that whatsoever you go through right now can never be compared with the glory to be revealed. If the prince of this world have known, they would have not crucified the Lord of glory, because they don't know that they were helping him to bring him glory. There was no way he could have actually had glory except he went through that process. And who will help him go through that process? So the devil may not know that all what he was doing was actually helping you to bring you to glory. But you felt that the altar was designed to kill you, to destroy you, to make your life miserable. There is no one that you see today that you celebrate that has not passed through the altar of sacrifice. On ease always lies the head that wear the crown. Every glory you see is upon a story that sometimes is too hard to tell. It's a story of pain and sacrifice. The realm of the spirit answers nothing but to sacrifice. And if you don't have an allotment of sacrifice in the realm of the spirit, forget it. Forget it. Everyone wants to happen like that. Many years ago, the Lord told me, Philip, Cephas, we don't blow, we grow. And it's expedient that we grow. Anytime you are desirous to blow, God will hide you the more and put more furnace and more flame. They will ensure that it burn more, so that He can take away all the allotment of the infirmities of darkness in you that want to make you look like a caricature. Because God is more interested in forming Himself in you and building stamina in you. Because God saw the nations, you just also saw things. Everything the devil promised God in the person of Jesus was what he has. But the devil will always show you what actually God has earmarked for you. And so that in obedience to Him, you ostracize yourself from God. And after a while, you even lose what the devil has given you. Everyone that went to the devil to get something quick, I'm telling you the truth, at the tail end they lose everything. See, it's more easier to follow God than to follow the devil. At least with God, you can even disobey sometimes and mercy can keep you. Is there mercy with the devil? Go and join a court and try to come out and see. Every day you'll be needing deliverance. Those kind of people that no matter how you lay hands, lay leg, it seems as though God is not answering their prayer.